Welcome to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Joyous conversations about what the afterlife evidence and modern science combine to tell us is true about our one reality. You have nothing to fear. You are eternal and you are perfectly loved. Knowing the truth changes everything. Now, here's Roberta.
Welcome to Seek Reality. I'm Roberta Grimes, and I'm so happy you could be with us today. Oh, my dear ones, all of us are seeking essentially one thing. We all are seeking happiness, but as we seek it, frankly, most of us have trouble finding it. Now, our guest today is an expert on helping people to seek and to find true happiness. His name is Philippe Brouillard. Philippe is the founder of Vita Quantum and a PhD candidate in the quantum science of health, prosperity, and happiness under Dr. Amit Goswami. Now, Amit Goswami was actually a guest on an earlier episode of Seek Reality, and as I recall, I really enjoyed talking with him, and I'm going to love talking with Philippe as well, because he's been a very good student, and I think he and I are going to agree on pretty much essentially everything. He bridges quantum physics, neuroscience, and spirituality, and they do bridge naturally. He's developed the quantum source formula, which is a method for rewiring energy and elevating consciousness, which easily can be done. Philippe is a best-selling co-author of Rethinking Happiness, which I've been browsing happily today. And he is a gifted educator. He makes complex science accessible and practical. He guides people from stress and fragmentation, where many people are now, and he guides them toward coherence and purpose. His vision is to help humanity return to its essence, one inner revolution at a time. Oh, my dear Philippe, I'm so happy to have you with us. Welcome.
Thank you.
And let's talk about this.
Yes.
So how do we begin? How did you begin with all of this?
So that's a great question because at 5 years old, I said I want to change the world. So I grew up in
At 5?
Yeah, at 5.
Okay.
I said that to my parents. But I grew up in a very unusual family. So my dad was a medical doctor, and I'm 43 years old. So back then was unusual, medical doctor and spirituality. So mixing science and spirituality in some ways at that point. And at 14, I wanted to quit school. I was like, school is meaningless. We're asking why and nobody's answering, or they're just saying because that's what it is.
Yeah.
But then they sat me with the director telling me I'm very intelligent, so I need to stay at school. But we know based on science, there's no link between life satisfaction, success, happiness, and intelligence. But that's what we've been told what it is. And then it's like kind of my quest of trying to find something. I end up in sports. I finished 21 in Canada in mogul skiing, like extreme skiing, extreme sports. I was flying, like living a lot of flows of states and those kind of things. But I was like, maybe that's not it again. So it's only when you experience like the flow state that you feel great, but that's kind of the tip of the iceberg. You don't experience that all the time.
Right.
And then I jumped into drugs. I'm like, maybe drugs will be the answer, and like did drugs and like trying to find something, like lots of experience, but still not the answer.
No.
And then I went deep down in like everything, spirituality, energy work, like hypnotism, I almost name it. But I was like, still not feeling it. I still not fulfilling what I was looking at. And then I continue my path to business. I had a 7-figure business in functional medicine. So really trying to heal people, and we're getting amazing results. Like on paper, everything was there, like money, impact. We traveled a lot because of that. So we had a lot of fun, but still feel empty, didn't find anything until I really started teaching at my PhD level. So it's not when I started to mix this science and spirituality, but it's really when I started seeing the results on people that really things clicked.
Yep.
And for me, it's like my dad, medical doctor in spirituality when I was born. And now it's like understanding the science of spirituality, evolution, and so on.
Right.
And so the whole path was very like almost like everything that people try to find something. I've kind of experienced it without knowing it. I was doing the path and now like everything makes so much sense because now we have sadly a school system that's make our left brain super strong and our right brain like disappeared. So now if we're just in spirituality, the right brain is filled, but the left brain is not.
Yeah.
And we know that it's all about oneness. So if we don't bring oneness in our brain, the reptilian brain, the judge in the back saying like, if you don't agree, I'll stay here and I won't change and I won't let go survival of the ego, of the physical body, of like our belief and our perception.
Yeah.
And and when we bring the two to understand reality, to understand life, to understand what living is, what's the I and I am, and all those great philosophers that brought through things about thinking about what life is, we just lost all of this. And when we regain this, everything become possible. Um, so it's a very interesting journey, filled with failing, pain, and all of those things, but it was just perfect because without everything I've been through, I would not be able to do what I do today.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so everything happened for a reason. But most of the time we're in it, so we don't see the reason. Or like, oh, it's because of Roberto. That's what happened. It's your fault. And like, there's no power in that. There's no power of that.
Right.
So the more we understand how life works, and for example, if we bring the concept of the observer effect in quantum physics, it says, is the person observing that creates his reality. So if Roberta is doing something to me, it's because I'm creating it. So if I'm blaming you, then I think I'm separate than you. We're going back to duality. But if we're saying everything is one, or everything is consciousness, or everything is source, or God, or what it is, most of the time when people say that, it's a very mental construct, but they don't understand the concept. So that's why we suffer so much. And that's what Buddhists are saying. Like the number one
Right.
suffering is life, don't understand life or reality or what's living really. So we would do a lot of therapy, which I've done tons of them. I almost name it, I've done it. But it's never ending story because we're not broken. If we think we're broken because we're still living in good or bad, this is a mental construct. It's a human construct. There's nothing good or bad. We know energy. So we say everything is energy also, or everything is consciousness. But if we say everything is energy, there's not a good or bad energy. It's
Right.
again human constructs and just a higher vibration or lower vibration, but it's nothing good or bad. So a lot of times I would speak to my customers, I would say negative or positive, because if I'm saying like this is a different kind of energy, people are like, oh, what are you talking about? So you can
Right.
take the terms so people can understand, but there's nothing good or bad. Like
Right.
there's no heaven and hell. That's the human construct again. So it's how is life? Like life is beautiful. Like I love taking like extreme example because this makes a point. COVID was a beautiful time for some, and for some was like the biggest nightmare. It's the same thing that happened for everybody. It's
Right.
just a perception how you
Right.
experience it. So life is the same thing. So for example, in my thesis, so my thesis was developed through my program that I've created during my thesis specifically. And so at the end, I was asking the question, so how many people of you that experience a very stressful event, like divorce, loss of job, somebody close dying, or like heart diseases, or and so on. So technically, based on science, these are the things that create the most level of stress.
Right.
So people that said no experience an improvement, approximately of 30% improvement in overall happiness. People that said yes, we're talking about 80%. Here it's a big problem now because we're saying people that experience the biggest stress become the highest level of happiness raised, which is very the opposite at what we would see. They won't technically improve. It should be negative. No one in the process went negative. Everybody improved. So you're like, because we change how they perceive reality, how they experience life, those events that technically are stressful or negative raise who they are as human being.
Yes.
So that's very what spirituality says. Like it's about raising consciousness.
Yeah.
Everything happened in your life are there for you to grow. I've got a proof here with my thesis. That's exactly what happened. But
Yeah.
that's not the norm because people don't understand life. So that's why we need to feed like the left and right brain because everybody in spirituality, even you're a woman, you're more right brain technically, but because of school, even if we don't want to question that our brain is still like this. If you want to train people to see without highs. So for example, I could read a full book blindfolded. Training an adult is very, very hard because it's a
Yeah.
fully right brain structure. A kid's super easy. They learn super fast. The difference, left brain, right brain. That's the only difference. So in that space, so how much do you balance things out? How much do you really believe everything is possible? Kids are thinking the same like this. I've got a 2 years old, like almost everything is, she's like, nothing can stop her. She's going to fail. She's going to fail. And who cares? When we become adult, failing is not an option because this defines who we are. So I don't want to become a failure because if I'm failure, people are going to laugh at me. Da, da, da. So we have a tons of story around failure. But we know that every high level athletes have failed multiple times. We say if you want to be a really good business person, you're going to fail. That's part of the learning journey. But in your
Yeah.
life, no, don't fail. Don't have coach. Don't fail. Life is simple. But we are in the statistic now that shows we're sicker and unhappier than ever, which is the paradox of progress. But we have the highest level of information, the highest level of comfort, the high level of accessibility of everything. So technically, we should be happier and healthier than ever, but we're the opposite. So we don't know
I,
what life
I
is.
remember years ago reading the results of a study. They wanted to understand the difference between people who have been successes in life and people who have been failures. And what they
Mhm.
discovered was both groups had failed the same number of times.
Hmm.
The only difference was
The
the
perception.
successes kept going until they succeeded.
Mhm.
I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, it's all about perception. So, and belief. So if there's a very simple study, what they do, they're gonna ask you, do you think you're lucky to find money? Are you lucky with money? So they create a restaurant where they put money on the floor and everybody inside the restaurants are actors. So to have the same setup for everybody. People that says they're lucky, they find the money on the floor. People that said they're not lucky, they don't find the money on the floor. But the money was on the floor for everybody, the same setup.
Right.
What's the difference? Just the belief that you think you're lucky. So if you think you'll succeed, you'll succeed.
Yeah. Isn't that
So
amazing?
that's the observer effect. Who's observing and creating his reality? It's how you perceive. So that's why I'm like, I'm not about fixing your past or fixing everything because that's what everybody does. We just want to transform or transmute your identity. The identity is the observer. And when you change the observer, you create a reality which is different.
Yeah. Isn't
Because if
that?
not, we're going to pass our life fixing things from this life, from a past life, from this to this.
Yeah.
No, we just
Yeah. Or
want to
you're going
raise
to
our
keep
vibration.
going till you succeed.
That's correct. That's correct.
Those are the successes in life. They keep
Yeah.
going till they succeed.
Yeah.
It's
You can be
perfect.
enlightened this life or in 20 life. It's up to you. Everything is possible.
Yeah.
So, oh, I know, but my spiritual master says I still need 5 life. Why? These are construct. And then you believe this and then you don't grow as much because you believe this.
Right. Right. That's
So
right.
it's funny because a lot of people would say, yes, everything is possible. Yes, I'm God. Yes, but Okay, and what's happening in your life? Oh yeah, but now they're justifying why it's not possible, but they're saying everything is possible. So it's like we were
Yeah.
having a conversation with my customers like a month ago, and one of them was saying like, "Yeah, I healed myself from cancer without doing chemotherapy and radiotherapy and whatever it is." And a lot of people are like, "This is possible." Like, yeah, I'm saying everything is possible, but not this. It's like that's kind of the paradox here is like if everything is possible, that's mean everything. The only reason it's not possible is your belief, your perception,
Yes.
and that's it. So how can
Extraordinary.
you create this? How can you challenge this?
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, but the cancer, it's not my fault. It's because of this or that, or you're
Yeah.
either the observer of your reality creating it or not.
Yes.
Like you cannot be sometimes. Like sometimes you have the power to create and sometimes you don't. That's not very fun. That's not very realistic. It's like if it's a law, but the law sometimes works, sometimes doesn't work. If you're playing a video game and just by coincidence you die. Like it's kind of weird. There's structure, like you would
Yeah.
die because you fall in the hole or because you're getting killed by, I don't know, a ball of fire or whatever it is, but for no reason you just die. It's like, huh. And even Einstein was saying it like 100 years ago. God doesn't play dice. There's no coincidence. But it's simpler to say that's not my fault. Like if I'm saying like you have a cancer, you're the one creating your cancer. It can be very intense saying that, but that means you have the power to change it. So it's giving back the power to every individual. If you're not living the life you don't like, perfect. You can change it, but you need to live it, to experience it, and to grow over it. So there's not like blame. There's no judgment. These are still good or bad. They're just what it is. And then we put the signification, the heaviness, this is like, and then you're like, oh, and anxious. Oh, let's take a anti-anxious pills or anti-depression pills, and you're not fixing who you are. You're not fixing why you're living like this. But human love predictability, love comfort, and one of foundation concept in quantum physics is everything is uncertain, the uncertainty principle. But we certainly, as human, doesn't want to talk about that. We prefer what's predictable. Our brain in neuroscience shows that we're always predicting the future, and that's make us survive, but that's make us suffer at the same time. So there's
So,
a
so
beautiful yeah
how do you when you're helping people,
yeah
how do you help them use consciousness in a positive way in their lives,
yeah. So
transform their
yeah
lives with it?
yeah. So I do it differently. So I've bring it on the concept of like understanding life itself. So on the
Yes.
conscious level. So I've got different courses that tell you how life function. I bring you the studies. For example, we can bring a concept. I think most people that listen today would believe in that reincarnation, for example. So if you don't believe in it, I'll bring you all the science to believe in it. At that point today, everybody that didn't believe in it finished believing in it because there is no other way to say that's what it is. Even if
Yes.
it's not like a hard proof because we didn't have a cord attached to somebody dying and coming back, which I don't will never get. But all the other science that shows that like,
There's a lot of evidence for it.
yeah, that's correct.
Absolutely.
So at that moment that you don't believe and now you start believing, life change because how you see life is very different at that point.
Yes.
So I'm gonna bring during the whole course, confront how you perceive reality. If you're saying everything is one, but you keep polluting, no, because you think you're separate, because pollution doesn't matter because it's not an impact to you. But at the moment you say everything is one, then every time you're polluting yourself, and then you're wondering why you're being sick.
Right.
So everything is interconnected, yeah, but sometimes it's work, sometimes it doesn't work. So we're like playing the victim in there and like not taking responsibility of our own divinity. So I'm gonna keep bringing different things, different concept, different things to challenge the foundation construct of reality, human living and those things. So this I work morely on the conscious level, and I call them like the electroshock,
Yes.
because when you live a trauma, it creates a neuroscience, a murmur effect. So your brain is open to be reconditioned, reprogrammed,
Yes.
because it's something very intense, unusual, uncertain reality. So this open up. So I
Yes.
want to create things that will challenge you enough that your body is like, oh, something unusual here. I'm being reprogrammed on a positive thing. So what we want on the conscious level is create like trauma that are positive to create transformation, to raise your vibration, to raise your consciousness.
Yes.
And then I works with different quantum audio, which is a mix of a lot of different technology to kind of put you in hypnosis to bring your subconscious, but it's not about fixing something. It's about raising your consciousness on like the fundamental values of what's human being.
Yes.
Because when you raise your vibration, everything that's lower vibration does not vibrate with the same reality. So a lot
Yes.
of traumas, past life things, and like belief and so on just cannot attach to this new reality.
Yes. Yes. We're
That's why I talk
writing
about
about that now.
transmuting the identity.
Yes.
So I play with those things, and I bring a lot of people towards, I ask them question to bring reflection. Like you saw in my book, there's a lot of question towards each chapters. I've got also a
Yes.
companion guide to reflect, because we're the expert now, which is my teacher, Dr. Amit Goswami, was saying at the level 2 of happiness, we have the addiction of information.
Uh-huh.
Right now, we're consuming all the information in the world, but we don't question it. We don't reflect on it. We don't bring meaning to it. So just
Yes.
information, and information is pointless, meaningless, and it doesn't change anything. So I bring people in breakout rooms on Zoom, for example, where I challenge things to debate. And
Right.
that's how Buddhists are learning, for example.
Right.
The
Okay.
Dalai Lama has been trained by the best debater in the world. And so how Buddhists would learn, they would read a sacred text, they're going to meditate on it, they're going to debate on it, they're going to read the text, they're going to meditate, they're going to debate. They are playing with those kind of things. So there's not a right or wrong answer. It's
Uh-huh.
about understanding things on a deeper level. So people today are buying courses, buying books, they're like buying crystal. They're like, even in the spiritual realm, we're consuming spirituality, personal courses, and so on to grow. But it's like when people finish one, they want to jump to the next one. Like, why?
Right.
Why don't you embody? Why you don't go deep in what you're learning?
Right.
So now we want to learn everything. Why? It might be not the right course. That's the possibility. Now we have like so much things online, but it's like, what will you learn about life? And I think most of courses doesn't talk about life. We're gonna fix you. We're gonna heal you. It's all about fixing, but you're not broken. You just don't understand life is. And Buddhists are saying this, but they're like, we love Buddhism, but we don't understand like the foundation of Buddhism in some way. Or Hinduism is the same thing, or the shamanism, or like the Kabbalah, or whatever the spiritual tradition is, or what Jesus was saying. I'm not talking about religion, but it's the spiritual person called Jesus. So we're not understanding what the teaching are. We're trying to use concept and live based on those concepts.
Yes.
So it's very interesting on that. Even like, so in Montreal, there's this person that talks about everything happening in the Middle East. He's the one bringing that to the TV, to the news. And at some point we met him and we had a lunch with him. And he was saying it's very interesting now because religion is not religion anymore. He was calling it's like religion à la carte. So people choose out of what they like from Muslim or Christianity, and they choose what they want. And they're saying like, I'm like this. No. If you're doing like 60% and you put your things in there, you're not like Muslim or not Catholic but that's how we live our life. Like we don't want to follow something and understand something. We're like, oh, this is nice. This is nice. So we want the buffet, but we want to choose, and then we're complaining it doesn't work.
Right. Right.
So that's why I'm like, let's go that. I did a PhD, like 6 years of studying and doing research and testing with people and saying this and that. So my program is proven scientifically. So I've been following Dr. Amit Goswami for a lot of years now and studying all his book and studying and teaching. And Like he's been there for, I think, as long as I lived. Like he's
Yeah. Yeah.
88 or something right now.
Yeah. He's
So
quite
he's been,
wonderful.
yeah. So, but he was trying to understand things. So he was studying a lot of different concepts, but he was going deep in most of those concepts.
Right.
Now we're doing like the bee, like just going to one flower to the next flower, and we're like, still need to be fixing this, fixing that. Yeah, but take your time. Like, it's not about how many, it's how deep.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
and now we're like super intelligent. We're like, okay, so to become the best CEO in the world, you need to read like them 50 books a year. And now there's a new application called Blinkist. They give you a resume of book and they're telling you you'll be reading 50 books a year. So a resume, you never go deep in something. It's impossible. It's a resume. But
Yes.
you're like, yeah, I've checked 50 book. I've known 50 book. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, take one book, read it, study it, read it again, and so on. Even me, I've wrote the book. I've edited the book. So I did a lot of work, a lot of reading and structure it. And even if I read it now, I'm like, oh, I didn't see this, but I wrote it. I read it like 7 times. I
Well,
debated with my
yeah.
dad,
Right.
and I'm still learning from my own things.
Right. That's
So
true.
imagine if you didn't write the book and you just read it once, what do you get out of the book? The good was
Yeah.
great. You should read the book. It was really good. That's how it's kind of funny, but that's how can. So that's why I
Yeah.
say like human beings are so simple, but we complex our life so much.
Yes.
And then
That's
when you
right.
see somebody like a stand-up comedy person would be saying what I'm saying and everybody's laughing because
Yeah.
they know they're all doing the same thing.
Yes.
So it's kind of
Right.
so when you start studying and trying to understand human being, it's become quite simple to understand that we don't need to fix your problem. We just need to raise who you are and all the problems disappear in some ways. So that's why I see
Yeah.
so great results, not in 101, but in group coaching. Because if we raise, everybody's raising. Like the tide raise all boats. Like everybody's raising, everybody's raising it. That's how it works. We're all interconnected
Yes.
and we're all
Absolutely.
mirrors. So we know we are mirrors, but it's not my fault. Okay, but if it's not my fault, then it's not his fault because we're the mirror. So it's kind of we know a lot of things, but it's does not apply. It doesn't make sense. It's good for others. It's like, but if we understand the quantum physics principles, like they're functioning, and if we think we're not quantum being, but we're just made from quantum particles, then what makes us then? So
And
people,
as you're raising your vibration,
yeah,
you think the happiness is what's raising your vibration, but really you're right, you are raising your vibration and that's what's making you happy.
that's correct. Yeah,
That's where the happiness comes from.
yeah. Happiness is
And the more you
internal.
raise your vibration, the happier you will be.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
Yeah. That's why Dr. Ahmed Goswami was saying like the definition of happiness is about expansion of consciousness.
Yes, exactly right.
So you're like, okay, that's what he's saying. So it's interesting because all spiritual tradition says the goal of life is happiness, joy,
Yes,
happiness. It's playing with different words in translation, but they all saying at the same time the goal of life is enlightenment.
yes. And
So,
enlightenment brings you the joy.
so, so are they
Absolutely.
kind of intertwined?
Yes.
But they're not saying pleasure.
No,
They're never said pleasure.
no,
But
but pleasure is the result. Joy is the result, nonetheless.
but the pleasure, if we define pleasure by how we define it, pleasure is something fully external,
But
very
it actually is
materialistic.
internal.
So every time you experience something that you feel good, it doesn't last because it's pleasure. It's very materialistic. It's very hormonal reaction. And then
Yeah,
we confuse the two. And then we pursued happiness, which is in reality, you're pursuing pleasure. But
yeah,
every time for example, you buy a new car or you buy something that you wanted, you feel
yeah,
good
yeah.
for
But that doesn't make you happy. But
days,
what ultimately makes
weeks.
you happy is raising your vibration,
Exactly.
and that is true happiness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you buy a new car, you're excited for a week, 2 weeks, or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
And then you
That's
wreck your car, then you're sad and you're suffering because you're attached to this thing. And we're going
yeah,
back to Buddhism. One of the biggest one is attachment to things.
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
things, to how
I
your
get that.
body looked, how you being perceived, attachment to like everything. So that's
Yeah,
why for
yeah.
them they're all dressed the same
You have
way
to
and
let
they
go of
go
all the attachments.
correct. So that's the thing. Like it's simple. Yeah, but I cannot get my amazing vacation if I change job and find something that's more meaningful. So I'm gonna keep that job so people can perceive me, or I'm part of this tennis club, or I'm part of this, or I cannot do my retreats
But when you
in
truly let go
Buddhism.
of all of that
Yeah,
and raise your vibration instead,
yeah,
then you're always happy no matter what.
yeah,
No
yeah.
matter what, my dear.
So yeah, so that's the thing. I'm a fan of retreats, but at the same time, I'm not fan of retreats in the spiritual realm because people become addicted to retreats because they feel good in the retreats and then they go back to their life. They're like, oh shit, I need to go back to the retreat because that was
No.
amazing. They're not fixing what's happening in their life, but they're like craving retreats.
Yeah, yeah, they could get a little
So
happiness for a minute there, but that wasn't very happy after all, was it?
yeah. So we're still pursuing things because when I was starting to talk about those things, then like people are like, yeah, but I don't want a new car. I don't want more stuff. I don't want, yeah, but you're just doing the same thing with the spirituality things, with the energies
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah.
Like some just buy crystals and like to feel good. Yeah, but the crystal can amplify your energy.
No.
Won't fix you. It won't raise your consciousness. So I've got a beautiful thing here. It's quite unique piece. It's a hunk, the Egyptian cross with all crystals and like all copper. The energy of this is amazing,
Yeah.
but this won't fix me. It's
uh,
gonna support me in my path, and that's it.
yeah.
So, but it's just easier to buy stuff, to live experience than do the real work. And I was doing that before. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in course and certification in retreats and healing and this and this and that, but I was still pursuing something.
Yeah.
And so we're all good to raise our hand to do and buying stuff. It's easy, but to really do the work, to very confront what's uncomfortable. One phrase I say, it's find comfort in the uncomfort, but we
Yeah.
want to stay in the comfort. Like we all have like a sofa or like a couch and those kind of things. It's really bad for us, but it's so comfortable. You're like, oh. So I'm saying to my mom, I'm like, I'm gonna buy a Japanese table where everybody sits on the floor, so no, like there's no chair. I cannot go eat with you. Yeah, but the only reason you're not doing it, it's because we've used the chair. And we know, like based on science and studies, the chair is like the number one cause of back problem because what we support doesn't need to work anymore.
Yeah.
The same thing. You have a flat foot, we're gonna put you an arch. Yeah, but the arch was just gonna make the flat foot even flatter. So it'll give you a bigger arch. And then we give you, so that's how human think. I've been in the health industry for so long because of my dad. So I've seen this in the health industry, but we do the same thing in spirituality. We do the same thing everywhere in our life. So, so even like the big trend now is psychedelics,
Yeah.
which is not bad by itself, but I called it the fast food of spirituality. You don't want to do the work. Like it's like this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so and I see so many people now more and more. Like, what's the easiest way? What's the easy path? No one in
No.
spirituality talk about the easy path. Why
No.
would you
There is
find
no
it? No,
easy path. There's
there's
only
no
the
easy
right
path.
path.
So let's take the easy path. So if you study Hinduism, they're not saying this. Buddhism, the Kabbalah, the shaman, they're not saying anything of this. But now, oh, we know better. Hmm.
No.
We know better, but we're sicker and unhealthier than ever and
No.
unhappier than ever. So there's something we don't know. So, but we have everything, every information, every strategy, so can we just settle and like understand what life is?
I use the teachings of Jesus.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the religion at all.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
religion is all wrong.
Yeah.
The
It's human
teachings of
construct.
Jesus, properly followed, are very good.
Hmm.
at
Hmm.
taking you away from all the stuff that doesn't matter and
Yeah.
getting you right to the source.
Yeah. That's
It
correct.
works
Yeah.
beautifully.
Yeah. Yeah. And he said, I'm just kind of an example. I'm not the only son of God. We're all the same thing. And,
Oh,
but that's
oh
not
yeah,
religion said,
yeah.
but that's what he said. And you're like, okay, so if he says that, and the challenge when we study like all those ancient spirituality, there's a lot of stories and there's myths, and like we need to understand those concepts. And that's
Hmm.
why they were studying sacred texts. That's what Buddhists are saying, doing, still doing, and Hinduists are still doing that. They're studying because it's not like black and white most of the time. But now, because of our school system, like just understanding those does not make enough difference. Back then, we didn't have a school system. Now we have one. So, in my opinion, in today's world, we're like so lucky compared to the last few hundred years where the school system started, because now we're going back to what we had as option back thousands of years where spirituality was very present, because we didn't have the need for understanding what quantum physics explained today because our brain was not developed that way. But now that because it is, so we need to find what will balance things out. Before we were setting a lot, we were talking, not setting, we were having conversation, which we don't have anymore. We were talking about a lot of those things. That's what Buddhists are still doing, and Hinduists are still doing somely. So, but even them now, they go to school.
Hmm.
Before they didn't have school. So, in my opinion, now all those spirituality are lacking things because they're not with the same structure they were before. Now they have adapted to our new reality, but they're still just studying the same thing. So we need to have the balance between the two. And I think what the researcher like Einstein or like Dr. Amit Goswami, what they've started as pioneer in their domain, brought us such a gift.
Hmm.
We can now understanding all of this. Like like Plato was like such studying beautiful thing about what's a human being and what we're living here. Like, oh, that's not important. So it's like we have all of those things, and we're like, sadly, we make like it's not nothing of that is important.
There are great teachers,
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
and they build untruths around them.
Mhm.
Jesus is a
Yeah,
great teacher,
yeah. He was
but
amazing.
nothing about the religion teaches
Mhm.
what he taught.
Yeah, but
He
even
said, if you hold to my teachings, you are really my disciples, then you will know the truth, and the truth will make
mhm.
you free.
Yeah,
In what church do they teach that?
I don't
None.
know.
In no church.
No church. So it's the same thing with the world alchemy. So the alchemist was about transforming like metals into gold.
Hmm.
But the real alchemist was transforming ourselves. So most of all the big names, it's Einstein or big scientists were all alchemists, but they cannot say that at that point because they were going against what was the establishment, which was the main thing. So they put it as writing about metals and stuff, but it's really about transforming our own self. So the alchemist process, it's our own being and not about material stuff. So they knew that, but they cannot say it. So even all the big names, it could be Newton, even if Newton physics is based on his name, he was not agreeing what he launched there. The same thing with the theory of evolution of forgot his name. Theory of evolution from Darwin.
Hmm.
Darwin was not agreeing with his own theory. Lamarck was saying something very different, which is aligned with quantum physics or aligned with oneness, but that's not what it is. So a lot of researcher, what they brought is not what we know as today as information. Could be Tesla, not the cars, but the inventor. It was moving energy in without space and outside of space. But like knowing all of this today is like not even there. So it's like, how can we make things that everything is possible? Like it's like there's a lot of concept. It could be telepathy, telekinesis, and those kind of things. And most people would say, no, it does not exist. But yeah, but look, CIA has revealed documents that they were doing research and it's working well. Not 100%, so they stopped doing it. Maybe. I know someone that was working for those governments in the blacklist and receiving a lot of money for doing seeing things and knowing things what other countries would do. And but it's like it's all there. It's all public. But no, it does not exist. So it's I was in the sauna, so where I live, there's a place where we go, there's a sauna in nature and there's a river and like and people talks and like it's very friendly and so I don't know why that there was a person there that and she was saying I'm a neuroscientist. Oh, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I love talking to those people and see. So are you a dualistic or a unist? Oh, I'm more unist. Okay, perfect. And then we keep talking, and then like she's fully dualistic, but in her opinion, she's really about oneness. But I'm like, that's not what it is. And I ask her the question is, so why are you using devices that are a quantum device, like PET scan, CAT scan, like MRI, all of those things use quantum physics principles because without them, we don't have any device, like computer work on quantum physics, cell phones and all, mostly every technology now use quantum physics principle. So why are you using those devices if you don't believe in quantum physics? Yeah, but it's different. Again, duality. Like, it works there, but doesn't work there. I'm like, so it's very interesting, those things. And one of my friends is reading on about how to raise kids based on the Doman method. I think that's how we pronounce it. And he was saying one of the biggest fear of the human being is intelligence. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Intelligence. So a lot of my teacher was saying, Dr. Amit Goswami is like, there's a saying like the more you get a bigger degree, and doctorate is kind of the biggest degree, the more you're scared of intelligence because then it's your ego that's affected. So what I know is the truth. If it's not, then I'll try to disprove it in some ways because my whole life. So especially if we have a lot of years and behind the tie, that's how we would say in French. I don't know if there's an expression like this in English, but because I've got so much experience now, if I'm saying like what I know when I've been writing studies and so on, it's not true, then who am I? So I keep in the same track and proving the same thing just to give more credibility. So people like Dr. Amit Goswami, my dad as a medical doctor in '84, he was an acupuncturist. This is not a good path to go because you're going against everything and you're being judged, you're being criticized and so on. And a lot of people would say, why there's not such studies on quantum things and human being and the interaction between the two. And simple. So who approved the papers? It's a board of people that are in the Newton physics world, the classical physics. Now we're coming with something different. They were like, nope. So it's always in secondary and third degree quality of journal because the first
There's
quality.
a whole new group
Yeah.
of physicians, of
Yeah.
scientists of every stripe
Yeah.
who are working independent of the materialists.
Yeah.
And they are basically leaving the materialists far behind.
That's
Oh, this
correct.
is so fascinating, but we've come to the end of our time. We're
Already.
really
Wow.
running over it at this point. What do you want people to take away from our conversation today?
So if I've kind of, so if you start believing everything is possible, then when something happened, question it. But like, why is it happening like this? Because it could be something else. Sometimes people are like, okay, it's not working at the job, so I should quit my job. I'm like, why? It might be this, but it might be you need to stand up for yourself. It might be something else. There are like multiple possibly, but things people see like black and white. There's no other option. But when you start reflecting and asking questions, make you open up something. Because there's nothing black and white in life. But that's how it's simple. Because there is only two choices. Like vanilla, chocolate, choose. It's easy. But now if I give you 100 choice, then you're like, oh, I don't know. maybe I could try this. I could like question life. And that's one thing I was saying for the book when I was speaking specifically around the book. I'm like, if there's one tip, do like a book club. It's free. You just buy a book and you read with other people and you question things, you reflect, you change. Oh, me, I see it this way. And you see it this way. That's kind of the easiest and cheapest thing that you can grow from it.
It's true.
But it's all about, oh yeah, but I'll do your course. Yeah, you can do my course. Yeah. I'll be happy to follow you in that perspective, but it's, are you going to do the work? So it's how ready are really, because putting money on the table, it's easy. Doing the work is the real part. This is really what's happening. Like in sports, there are people in the fan. The fans are the one complaining what's happening on the court, but it's really on the court. Go on the court, experience it. Now you complain. But if you're just on the stand, that's the easy part. And it's not because you're buying a course that you become on the court. You can really still be on the stand, even if you're buying a course. So it's like, that's one thing. A lot of the time on my calls with my customers, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to accept you in the program. So like, oh, maybe 20 minutes per day is too much. I'm like, okay. So how many hours do you passive losing your time? Oh yeah, but I need to be relaxed. And like people want something and they're acting very differently and not aligned with what they want out of life. Because it's difficult, it's painful, it's like, that's a choice. You see things. So question things is kind of the simplest, but sometimes like too simple, but that's one thing. Because you can buy my book. I'm going to launch every program in English very soon because everything's in French right now. But it's, are you ready? Things. And sometimes people would say, oh, your course is so simple, but I've been doing 30 years of like work on myself and now everything makes sense. It's not about being complex. If it's complex, you want understanding it. So how can you kind of slow down on that and reflect? Like journaling, it's a super easy thing. It doesn't cost much. Yeah, but I don't have time. Okay. Buy a course. You won't have time much more. So it's like, what's the next thing that will be the beautiful next thing? But the thing is happening here. It's inside of you. I'm just guiding you along the way, but you have all the power. You have all the possibility. I'm just showing the path. That's it. So it's a very, very unusual structure in the way I do things because of everything I experienced. So I did not become a master in gnosis or a master in this, master in that. I become a master of life in some ways. That's the only thing we want to do. It's master life. Everything becomes easier because after that, everything is flowing. Everything is possible. You can be a billionaire or you could be a super happy. It doesn't change anything. Money is just energy. Everything is energy. So it's
energy.
Yeah. So whatever it is, if it's money for just yourself, it's because you didn't understand anything about oneness. Because the money at the moment it's only for yourself, it's because you think you're separate. So life is simple. Like kids, when you look kids, life is simple. Then we become adult. We're like, oh, we know so much. And then we suffer because we're acting like adult that knows, but we still need to become, if there is one word, what you need to become is an adult with the childlike attitude. And that's it. Don't take yourself seriously. Life is not serious. Adult make it
It's not serious. Well, thank you, my dear.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
So once again, my beloved friends, we've come to the end of our time together. This has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. I'm very glad you could be with us today, but please never forget that you are a powerful, eternal being. You never began, you never will end. And when you get all the implications of that fact, it's going to change everything in your life for the better. Our guest next week will be Kim Hodis. She'll be with us for the third time. This is kind of a listeners and viewers know best situation because Kim has turned out to be a lovely guest. She's the author of a beautiful book called Beyond Grief: how a son's afterlife connection transformed a mother's loss into a remarkable spiritual journey. And in that journey and through that book, Kim connects to so many people. People love her, so please be sure to join us again next week. And this week, our guest has been Philippe Brouillard, who is the author of a book called Rethinking Happiness, and I've been browsing it today. It's a beautiful book. Philippe is the founder of Vita Quantum and a PhD candidate in the quantum science of health, prosperity, and happiness under Dr. Amit Goswami. And he is an amazing guy, very old, very amazing. Well, bridging quantum physics, neuroscience, and spirituality, our Philippe has developed the quantum source formula, which is a method for rewiring energy and elevating consciousness. He's a best-selling co-author of Rethinking Happiness and a gifted educator. He makes complex science accessible and practical, guiding people from stress and fragmentation to coherence and purpose. His vision, and this has been his vision since he was 5, he tells us, is to help humanity return to its essence, one inner revolution at a time. And we're all through and all out of time this time, so there's nothing more we can say. I just can tell you that this has been Roberta Grimes urging you to please enjoy and make the most of this coming week in our one reality, always knowing that you are a powerful, eternal being. And you, most of all, in this entire universe, you are infinitely, eternally, perfectly, and forever loved.
You've been listening to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Roberta blogs and answers questions at robertagrimes.com. Join us every week as we explore what the afterlife evidence and modern science combine to tell us is true about the one reality we all share. Knowing the truth changes everything.